What's up, MLP? It's KHD here, and welcome to the first ever episode of MLP Primetime. Now, I've talked about doing this over the past couple months leading up to Season 14, and I'm finally glad to be recording the first episode. And I'm joined today by our Season 14 Power Ranker and MLP's second best Power Ranker of all time. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Alrighty, g'day guys. I'm the token Aussie that he's using for the first episode. Just think diversity. I'm meeting that quota.
Debatable.
Hey, you gotta throw us a bone at least once a season.
So yeah, I'm joined today by MLP veteran and fellow Perplexity coach Blin. We'll get to our entertainment fest of a game, but first we want to introduce our other games. For Nobility this week, we have Jimmy G, our Season 12 champion, and Nala, our Season 10 and 12 runner-up. So this is Season 12 finals rematch. They played last season, but this is the second time they've played since then. They got brand new teams, and we'll get to that. Blin and I played. We're gonna need the power of video editing to censor some things out once that happens. Maybe I make like
yes, we will.
Maybe I make like an uncut version. I don't know. That we'll see what happens. Next up we got Charlie, who's returning to the league after playing in Download in Season 12, and Simpleton, who joined us last season via replacement. They're both playing in Duality in Week 1. Next up we have Pelkia62, Luxury Mod and Luxury Coach against DL Sunny or Sun, who is a second season coach here. Did pretty well last season, and I expect both players here to do well this season, so should be a good game. And finally we have our other franchise Aussie, Frozen at the moment, taking on brand new coach Eno LR. If I'm pronouncing that correctly, I don't know.
Look, you did a better job of that than I did in the power rankings, so we'll stick with it.
How did you say it in the power rankings? I don't know.
So we've got Enola. I'm not sure how you say that. Enola. That's what we're gonna go with. And
I said Enola.
Ugh, that's I hope that's not how you say it. That's kind of grody. So yeah,
Hey.
we're just gonna go straight down the board. We're gonna start with the Nobility game. So my initial thoughts here is just like the one outstanding thing that looks good is Bisharp for Jimmy. Otherwise, I feel like the other Mons have a decent matchup, but have decent checks to them as well. It's just a matter of play and luck in this one when it comes down to how I see it. What about you, Blin?
I also saw Bishop doing well, but then again, it's also a Bishop, so like, we can't put too much pressure on a trash mon like that.
Yeah, he said before the recording he was gonna rip on Bishop.
I also liked Jirachi here, like, controversially. Yes, I know that there's a Moltres and a Bishop, but I feel like just given Nala's team build-up, Bishop can go down fairly easy, and Rachi could kind of sit in front of a few mons.
Yeah. Alright, we're good. So Jimmy's gonna lead off with the Pinsir as he leads off with Sabe. Yeah, I like the taunt there, because pre-evote, he could be Mold Breaker and Toxic it, so it's a smart play from Nala. Finny Nox, yeah, takes away Vest. Nock was pretty free there. Nothing really wants to lose an item. Oh yeah, the next thing I wanted to complain about. I don't know if he was just like expecting Fire Punch Electivire or not. I'm not sure what the Aqua was for, and I also thought he should have scouted for it, because like he has pivots to work with.
Yeah, like, Dragonite comes in on this thing fairly free. Even a Wild Charge isn't going to do a lot.
Well, it gets Ice Punch. It could potentially have that. I don't know if we end up seeing it or not, but that was my general thought on this turn.
Yeah, I was a bit... When I saw the sets and saw it was only like 32 HP invested and no Spadef, I started wondering what the was for, considering if it's not... Like, I don't expect this Electivire to be super invested, just given the set and the team makeup, and then obviously Moltres is going to kill if Electivire does, so like... I don't know what the Occa was necessarily for, unless you're expecting like physical moves, like a Fire Punch from Deoxys or from this maybe.
Deoxys could be another one it was for, but never got confirmation from Jimmy on that. We had our week 1 players send us pastes if they wish, and Jimmy opted not to.
You mean Nala? Oh wait,
no, we got Nala's.
Yeah.
So he's gonna pivot into the Dio speed on Tapu Fini's Electivire is too low, and he gets a crit Spatak drop. That's a bit unfortunate, but
this is kind of where the shenanigans of this game start.
Yeah. That's a little bit of foreshadowing for you folks at home. So the Dio's gonna take out it with Nightshade, and that gets Sableye into recover. So the play rough read gets undone a little bit. And then we see Dragonite pull up with the Rock Tomb, which I actually think is a bit interesting. The Hurricane Mist sucks, but I like the Rock Tomb there.
I actually really like this play here where Jimmy's gone into Bishop on the next Rock Tomb to grab that Defiant boost.
The balloon gets popped, which he's not really using that for all that much. At this point in the game. But the Dragonite outspeeds and KOs with Superpower. I don't think Superpower was quite what he predicted there, but Bisharp being gone is very good for Nala. That's one less thing that can help just absolutely break through Sableye.
Yeah, just looking at what was left on Nala's side as well, Knockoff kind of just cleans this team. Like, Sableye chunks it, Jirachi's almost going down, Nihi has 3 physical defense, so it's gonna drop. And then Dragonite doesn't appreciate losing boots. So I think that was... The Dragonite having superpower there was sort of a pivotal turn in this game.
He's gonna get pivot into Jirachi on the play rough, and he encores, which is a good play there. It'll force out and he'll get momentum on his side, which he actually takes the opportunity to Cosmic Power up, and he crits.
Yeah.
How unfortunate.
Yeah. Looking at at the Rachi set, because that was actually a policy Jirachi, and at +2, I don't imagine that EQ did a whole chunk, and
I think what I remember from the post-game discussion, it was like it did like 30 without a crit, or like 40. I don't exactly remember.
Yeah. It would have come down to whether Deoxys had coverage or killed with Nightshade. Because if it didn't, then... Well, if it, like, you might have had to, like, sack Donphan to get off an Ice Shard. Actually, no, it's a Jirachi, that's not doing it. Yeah, I think that set could have kind of won. Because...
Yeah, surely. I thought it was a good set looking at it afterward.
Yeah, the only thing that can outspeed is the Mega Pinsir. So yeah, that was really unfortunate for Nala there.
It is revealed one move Toxic, so I mean, like, I imagine it probably has EQ. He's gonna click Foul Play on the Donphan again as Jimmy overpredicts with the Play Rough. And he overpredicts twice, and he's actually gonna get a lot of chip on the Donphan, which is really good for the remaining 2 Mons, even if he gets Ice Shard crit right here.
Yeah, like that Ice Shard crit mattered a bit, but looking at this Dragonite set, it didn't have anything other than superpower to hit Donphan, so if he didn't get that chip, it becomes a bit awkward because you don't really want Sableye taking a play rough just to be able to kill the Donphan.
So it was Roost, and I forgot what the last move was.
Dragon Tail.
Ah.
So,
That's right.
yeah.
Which,
Yeah,
now that he knows Foul Play does 61, he can certainly taunt on this following turn here. Yeah, this is it. He clicks the taunt there, and he's going to be able to get rid of the Dio on this turn or the next one. The next one, yeah. I always miscount taunt turns, but yeah. So yeah, Dio's down, and from this point, the Dragonite pretty much just wins. We do see the Dragonite's faster, so yeah, it'll guaranteed finish up this game. 1-0 for Nala. A bit hacksy. I think Nala would have won a bit easier, and I think overall Jimmy played decently, but I think he won with better sack management. Like I definitely think he got caught off guard with the Bisharp.
I do think that those over predictions with Donphan might have cost him this one, because if that Donphan is at, like, what would it have been at, like 60-70% if he predicted right the first turn, I'm not too sure how Nala breaks that.
I think Nala's win con at that point is dodging play rough.
Yeah.
And it's not slap controlling Mega Maw, so it'll actually hit. So next we're going to move on to Hell.
Oh yes.
Oh brother.
If anyone thinks that Mons is a game that rewards the player that plays the best, I recommend you should skip the next probably like 7 minutes or so.
It's gonna be longer than that without the power of video editing.
Oh, that's true.
Brother. So who wants to start?
Well, I'll let you start.
So this is a game. I really should have thought about Valk more when I was actually prepping. That's something I definitely wish I did, because looks pretty good at team preview, doesn't it?
Well, when I was prepping, I was terrified of Mega Heracross, because if Mol wasn't Mega'd, I lose a Pokemon, just straight up. Like, you click Rock Blast or Close Combat or something, and I just lose a Mon. So that was terrifying.
Let's get started with Hell. So I lead Heat Tom, and he leads Alt. How much speed did I run on this thing again? I don't remember. I probably should have pulled up my paste for this, but
yeah. I think you ran a little bit of speed, because I crept like 4 speed, rode him or something. I also read this because
I think I ran enough for like either like I ran a good bit. Let's just leave it at that. So yeah, I'm just gonna Volt this turn. I think. Oh Jesus. Yeah, I just Volt. Worst case scenario, you Toxic me or something like that. But yeah, you just Hyper Voice your whatever. I get the knock that I want there. I figured you couldn't really risk Alt there, and nothing else wanted to switch into knock. So good play on my end.
Yeah, that was a bit annoying for me. The mid game of this would have been so much easier if I remembered to bring regen on my Slowking.
Hey, what's wrong with Curious Medicine?
Look, many things.
It's a doubles ability, because that's all Game Freak cares about.
Oh.
Anyway, so yeah, here's where things start to get interesting. He clicks the Yawn, which is like probably the worst thing it has for Muck.
Yeah, look, Yawn was just like, I need a way to stop Muck being free. Like.
So I was like, oh, okay, what double could I make? Because this doesn't want to get knocked, and I mean, he could go Steela again. So did it. So yeah, I went Torn and you did Ghost Dealer, and I just Heat Wave there in case like the Zera came in and whatnot. That's fine. Toxic on this thing is a bit annoying, but I can work around it. I split here. So here, all right. So yeah, here's the part we probably have to discuss the most.
Yeah.
Other than the incident at the end, we'll get to that. But
Oh.
that'll be discussed and sweared out quite a bit. But he goes for the yawn here, and in game I brainlessly clicked Volt Switch here and did not think.
Yeah.
Doubling was the only option. Even Wisp was a bad idea. It would have helped out a little bit further down the line. It still would have been better to double overall, but like Wisping still wasn't a terrible idea. But yeah, he goes Tort and I brain fart and Rotom's asleep.
Yeah.
This is very bad.
At that point, I had to kind of make a play because I was losing the momentum more. And I was like, you know what? I'm going balls deep here. At that point, Zero was still very important to win because Zero was one of the like 2 things that could break Muck. I definitely underprepped for that thing. And so I was like, you know what? Let's throw Torterra. Because at this point, Volcanion looks really good, and this Rotom is really annoying for me to get Vulcan. So I need this thing to be going to sleep, please.
So yeah, I was
and
like,
yeah, it worked.
I just doubled into Torn, and then just clicked Heat Wave or U-turn. That would have been good, because Torn's a little weak as well, so regen up and whatnot, but nope, I brain fart in game, and now I have an asleep Rotom with a toxic Torn. So that means it's Torterra time.
Torterra time. It's my favorite time of the day.
Let's see how long that lasts. Anyway, I risked the Stone Edge once just to see how much he has, and yeah, he doesn't have it. So Prim is useless in this game. So I just throw that in front, hoping to get Torn back in eventually. But did I scald? I should have. Yeah, either or Volk doesn't care.
Just like Moonblast does like 4 to me.
I knew I lived Steam Eruption, so I figured I'd break here. Oh, this was the turn I had to get it right, because I died to toxic damage if I get this wrong. But I was trying to think if you would actually be ballsy and stay in sub again, because I was contemplating clicking Hurricane again, even though it didn't kill. Which is the ultimate reason why I ended up U-turning and you went in Zeraora like a pussy, so it paid off.
I was so close to clicking sub again, because if I click sub again, you had to give me a mon. Like, the only thing that... There were 2 mons on your team that lived Volk's hits, and they were Muck and Prim.
I would have wanted...
Prim does nothing.
I would have wanted to give you Prim, but it can't break the sub, that's the only problem.
Yeah, like, you go Prim, I click Sludge Wave, and that's... You don't have a Prim anymore.
Exactly right, so yeah,
and if you go Muck, and I break Muck, then... It kind of means that Mega Ult sits for a while and forces you to bring Drill in. Which was, like, the whole thing. Because at this point I was like, yeah, Drill is your endgame, it has to be. And I need to force that thing out so that I can kill it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Got the 50-50 right, so I have Rotom back in, but I don't want anything to get CC or knocked, so I just sacked the Rotom. It's a lost cause at that point.
Yes, so this is where regen would have been lovely for me. Because, yeah. Because if I had regen then, my play every time was to click Yawn, because you either killed me with Hurricane and then I just get a free Zera, or you go into Muck and I force it out. And that was the turn that really annoyed me, not having regen. Because it meant I had to slack off.
And Muck gets back in and clicks buttons.
Yeah,
yeah, it just takes the G King, yeah.
Yeah, at this point I'm like, it's too low to deal with Torn.
So now, on to the juicy stuff. So, I know I live Fists. I didn't see a Life Orb, so I assumed I live Fists, and if he was Magnet, I probably would have cried.
Yeah, I was Shaka, not Magnet. Because originally I probably should have been Magnet. Originally I had Bulk Up.
And Gunk had a good
originally
chance
I had Bulk Up.
Oh, you go.
Yeah, originally I was Bulk Up Zera, because if I caught the Bulk Up on the Switch, then I live, or like a Torn U-turn or something, then I lived EQ from, from Excadrill, and then I kind of just bodied your team. But then I realized that I had to CC a bunch of things, and that dropped my defense and made Shaka kind of useless. So I probably should have been Magnet, but yeah. In hindsight.
Alright, so yeah, I know I live anything, and I think Gunk was like slightly in your favor to live, but I went for it anyway because it hits pretty much everything else well, and with the G King down, Muck doesn't really need to do all that much. As long as Volk doesn't get an opportunity to get back in and sub up.
Yeah. At this point, we've both got 3 mons and a sack piece. My sack piece is the Mega Altaria that doesn't touch anything, and your sack piece is the Gigalith that dies to any one hit on my team. So it's, yeah. At this point, I probably shouldn't have sacked Zera here. My thinking was I knew that Muck was faster than Torterra, and Torterra had to stay for the Sand Core. My thinking was Volk can kind of come in on Gigalith and on Muck and click buttons and force you to give me Pokemon, so that's why I kind of kept it.
I think alt should have been sacked here, and I'm pretty sure I kill as well.
Yeah, the only thing is alt clicking Hyper Voice into a Volcanion move didn't have the best roll, and I didn't want to like click Hyper Voice, sack alt, and then have you hard read me and go into Excadrill, and then I cry, and this thing's still alive.
So yeah, exactly.
So I kind of.
So the Zera
I just wanted to put it.
And I get the poison because I'm the goat.
Oh, that annoyed me because at that point Sand was down. And didn't you have Snake on this thing? I don't think you had Snake.
No, didn't.
Yeah. So at this point I live no poison like it would be in a fair world. I then just click whatever button I like to get rid of this Muck. You either have to go into Torn, or you have to go to kill this, or you have to go into Gigalith to set up Sand. And going into Torn means I come in with Mega Ult, and I just click Fire Blast. Because that means that you can't bring in Drill. I kill the Torn pretty quickly, because I'm bulky Mega Ult, and Gigalith dies to Fire Blast into coverage. So yeah, but alas, Mons is a fair game that rewards players for good plays.
Exactly, I'm the goat.
And then then I finally got it into the stage that I want. I am like, okay, this is a Torterra against the Sand Core, and Torterra sits on this core all day. Like, we've already seen the Gigalith interaction. Like, you have nothing to touch me. And we've seen the Excadrill doesn't touch this. Like, you need to get to +2 and like get a Ultra Mega crit while I'm at like 70%.
So this drill set was not exactly devised to be setting up on a Torterra, as more so for Steela. He said after the game he had Flamethrower, which I still don't really agree with, but it happened, so it wouldn't have worked on Steela either. But I get the Magnet Rise off here. He goes for Earthquake, because he didn't really expect the Magnet Rise. So now I have to SD and hope for the best with Woodhammer rolls, because it does around 50. So he goes for his first Woodhammer. It does 56, and at this point, I prayed to the gods. I crossed my fingers, and I'm like, oh shit, I need a flinch to win this game. And did the gods answer? No, the gods didn't answer. Torterra just threw for the content.
Oh, that annoyed me because I was like, I got to the exact point that I wanted. Torterra against Sand. At that point, it should have been a guaranteed win. Yes, I should have clicked Woodhammer, but the reason I didn't click Woodhammer is I'm pretty sure that like there was a reason that like Woodhammer, recoil if you were because you were slightly bulky.
Yeah, a good bit, yeah.
So if you were not bulky, there was like a way that you could. I think I was worried about a crit. So if you weren't bulky, I did like 80% or something. Took a whole bunch of recoil. If you SD'd then instead of.
But yeah, that
got crit.
That flinch just handed me the game because God wanted me to win. That's all that wanted. That's all there was to it. We got salty Aussies in the chat.
Oh look, I mean, in Australian, that's just hello, how are you?
Yeah.
I didn't need ult for anything that game. It could have just sat in the back and then like somehow won me the game. Like that would have been no,
knowing how this shit works, you were gonna miss Fire Blast.
Oh yeah, probably.
Which yeah, I assume you just needed that for like rolls.
Yeah, Fire Blast was there to just one shot Mega Hera. No, it was not for Mega Hera, it was for something else. I don't remember what Fire Blast was.
Not drill, it's
Celebi, that's the thing. I needed it for like, because I thought Celebi could come as just like a Fizz-Def pivot. Considering Blaze Kick does not do enough to Celebi from Zera, and if you're Kolba, you can kind of recover on Nox. So I needed something to be able to do that.
I think that's also fair. So I think we both played better than the Mega Scissor game, so that's a positive.
Hey, look, I played flawlessly that game. Mega Scissor just threw 4 Sand Tombs in a row, which was very sad.
So yeah, Mega Scissor threw for the content before it was cool. Torterra just made it cool.
Next time we're in a league together, I'm drafting Jirachi and Togekiss, and I'm going to be the one that gets the hacks, no matter what.
So next season.
Yeah. Well, not when you relegate.
Not when I promote. Right. Next up we have Duality Week 1, Charlie versus Simpleton. My initial thoughts were Dragapult and Nihilego look very good, and Coco looks good the other way, but also if Lando is offensive, I think it can put in a lot of work as well.
Like, Umbreon, yeah, it's not the best versus the rest of the team, but it sits in front of Dragapult. And like, you could run like Foul Play, Wish, Baton Pass, Toxic or something, and I feel like that set would have been really cool here.
I think that's fair. I wanted to mention the Gallo Reasoning a little bit later when that flaw gets exposed quite badly, but enough spoilers, let's get to the action. Normal, holy. So we got Uxie and Lando leads, so Lando is most likely either Brox or maybe Scarfer wants to set up turn 1. We'll see what it does. It just clicks U-turn. Uxie clicks knock and Zard's in for free.
I would have loved to have seen sub Zard Y here, because if he clicks sub there, then he just claims them on. But yeah,
certainly, yeah. It would have gotten rid of the Nihilego right away.
yeah. So that's something I would have. We didn't actually get Simpleton sets, but I would have loved it, because looking at this team, like sub, stabs, scorching sands / earthquake kind of just goes in.
I mean, Charlie didn't bring Rotom Wash, but maybe he doesn't fit Roost on that set. Maybe he just ends up running Solar Beam. I first want to point out the things here that abuse Galar Weezing and would take that wish, with Nihilego being one of them. Back can take it on later in the game if it wants it. Polk could take it if it wanted to, as long as he doesn't get Strange Steamed in the face. If he doesn't expect to, then he can go Polk. You can also heal up Uxie if he wishes. But yeah, this Aroma in front of Weezing is gonna cause a bit of trouble. That's another thing. If he pivots into Nihilego and the rocks get defogged away, he gets them right back up. He doesn't really care. So the Lando's Gravity, which is actually quite good in this game, and it breaks. It gets Aroma to the point of a 2 KO. Did he protect or pivot out? He pivoted out into the Uxie, that's right.
One thing I will say here is I don't really understand Boots Coco in this game. Yes, you've got T-Spikes from Nihi, but the things that hit Coco, like this Coco doesn't look to be super defensive just based on the rolls that it took. And I feel like even if it was a defensive Coco, something like Leftovers, considering rocks is mostly what you're taking, would have benefited more. Like I don't know. I feel like it could have been like a better use of your item.
Weezing was Levitate because I wasn't sure if it was gas, it would absorb the T-Spikes, and even then, he still has 3 solid defoggers on his team. I wouldn't have been I probably wouldn't have run Boots either.
Yeah, I feel like that's some people tend to have the tendency to slap Boots when they don't know what item, but when in reality, if you don't know what item, you don't need an item to boost damage. Like, just throw on a Resist Berry or Leftovers or something. Just to, like... Yeah, I feel like that's a better move than Boots to not take chip.
Weezing is about to get friggin' nuked. Yep. And he sacks out on the following turn. Okay, it's my turn to bitch about Weezing coming. So... Like I said earlier, it gets wished on by Aroma and gets in pretty much whatever Charlie wants, bar Infernape on it. And, like, Simpleton benched Ferrothorn, and I am very confused as to why, because, like, if he ran, if he came in on Aroma with Pharaoh instead and he had, like, Gyro Ball, T-Wave, that kind of punishes anything that can come in, because nothing outside of Ape or Uxie wants to take Gyro Ball, and neither of those two want to get T-Waved.
Even just to set up spikes here, like, we saw that Lando almost 2-hit KOs Aroma. Like, the residual chip on things like Dragapult and Infernape that want to come in a lot, like, a layer of spikes would have been brilliant here. Like, just to make his life so much easier.
Yeah. Simpleton, I think, had, like, a benched Megagron or something, so I think, like, Gyro, T-Wave, Spikes, and Body Press would have been a good fit here. That's the other main point I think Pharaoh should have come is Nihilego looks very good here, but Ferrothorn kind of just completely invalidates it, and he Charlie will lose whatever momentum with Nihilego and with Ferrothorn alive if he doesn't double.
But yeah, anyway, let's watch Dragapult click Shadow Ball a few more times, because it's free.
So he gets Shao in here. He could either be bluffing Scarf or just be Scarf. Either way, Charlie has no reason to risk this. Does he goes Uxie because he doesn't really need it. He'll just sack it.
Yeah. I think that was a good play. This thing has to be Scarf if Lando isn't, because you
Um,
need something to outspeed Lando, to outspeed
So,
Dragapult.
he goes into Aroma, which is the right play because if he reveals Poison Jab here, he's not Scarfed, and therefore Polk can just nuke it. Coco, with only Nature's Madness revealed so far, can also roost up on this thing, which helps it out, but that also gets Nihilego back in and healed up a little bit. It gets some of the Thunder Punch damage back, but that para blows. Because it can't outspeed Lando, it can't outspeed Zard, and yeah, it's mainly those two, which obviously Zard gets by Power Gem, and Lando, once weakened, can die to Power Gem.
Yeah, I think at this point Charlie's game plan is just get Dragapult in, claim him on, and then go into your 14 Mienshao resists.
Yeah. Like, the problem with Mienshao in this game is, like, it just can't lock into one move.
No. It was, yeah.
He goes Nihilego as he roosts, but Nihilego's back.
That was a misplay. That was a misplay there, I feel like, from Simpleton. At that point, like, Yard isn't really doing anything because, like, Dragapult and Infernape outspeed it. We've already seen that, like, Crobat outspeeds it.
I don't think we've
so does
seen
Nihi. So four of the.
I don't think we've seen the ape set, or I don't think we
well,
ever did.
I am. We've got it here, and yes, it's a timid ape, so it outspeeds. It outspeeds Yard. I think at least clicking Weather Ball here claims your Pokemon. Because, like, you don't die to a Moonblast, and you either chunk the Aroma, or you basically get him on, because I don't think Dragapult wants to take a Weather Ball in the sun after Rocks. Like, it eats it, but not very well. And roosting here doesn't help you, because you die to one hit from a lot. One thing I will say is Simpleton gets a bit mad here. And it's like, oh, GG, when he doesn't roll an attacking move. We never got his set, so we never know what that attacking move is. If it's Shadow Ball, Ape well, like, even if he rolls it after the first one, it has to be Shadow Ball for it to kill and for it not to invite Crobat in for free. And it's revealed that Nihi did have Acid Spray, so he just clicks that until
he did? I didn't see that, so that's good, though. Either way was taken care of.
One thing I will say is a bit of an oversight on Charlie's side, which made this set, like, if he did get an attacking move here, made this set better than it was, is Charlie didn't bring a physical attacker. He was Special Ape, Special Poles.
Special Bat.
His only Special Bat, the only physical moves he brought were on Uxie, and he had no attack investment.
Which, that's a bit of a yikes.
Yeah, that I don't really understand. Maybe, did Charlie bench something that, like, I mean, Simpleton bench the Pharaoh and the Umbreon, which are both, like, can run either Fizz or Mix defense.
He also had, Blastoise, which I guess that the Special Ape does better against that as well as the Galar Weezing.
Yeah, he was Plot Ape, Plot Stabs, Vacuum Wave.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of an oversight, but it didn't really matter because this Mushada's dropping. And
now we see the Crobat be with Conberry. I think that was a really interesting bring, especially given that it paid off, because I don't think there was any other use for it outside of cucking Coco.
Yeah, like, I like it because it doesn't... Like, he obviously benched his ground type this week, and so it forces, like, if, say you had a Uxie or a Nihi that was, like, designed to beat Coco, it doesn't, like, they can always get Volt Switched on, or you turned on, so I think Allure was his best way to beat Coco this week, and it worked out really well.
He will end up winning 4-0 because it is indeed Scarfed into knock. So,
yeah.
I think Charlie played a very good game on both prep and play. and obviously Simp's main downfall was in prep not bringing the Pharaoh.
Yeah, like 100%.
There were
I
a
don't think
couple.
that's really...
There were a couple little things, but that's the big thing. I think that's the main reason why he lost, not bringing Pharaoh.
Yeah, like 100%. That's... I don't think there's really much more to say about this game. Like, Charlie's prep was good, and then Simpleton just made it easier for him by benching the one of the biggest threats to his team.
Next, we're gonna move on to the luxury game between Palkia and Sun. My main observation here was that outside of Weavile, Gliscor kind of just sits in this game.
My observation was a little more bleak. I kind of looked at this and I'm like, if Gengar doesn't kill like half of his team, he's gonna lose, because this matchup is very Lando friendly. It's very Weavile friendly, and like Mienshao works really nice here. Reuni is a great Reuni's probably one of the best Medi checks in the game, just because it's a fat psychic with recovery.
ChibiW would like to know your location. Now we're gonna get the game started. He leads Medi and leads Xiao. I assume he just wanted to U-turn out with Xiao and fake out this half because Medi moment. So yeah, he's gonna go into Reuniclus, and yikes, that does 51. And his helmet, look how much that did.
Yeah, so he took that U-turn did 32, so he was at 68. He's taken 44% to do 51, which is why, like, yeah, Reuni goes down in 2 of these, but so
Medi
also goes down if it clicks 2.
Which,
yeah.
Given this like Reuniclus matchup outside, that's a clear trade that benefits Palkia more than it benefits Sun for sure. This could be a little bit of an issue, but if Rose just gets the chip off, Weavile can come in. Weavile or Xiao can come in afterward and clean it up. And yeah, he will acquire the proper chip, and Rose goes down. And Xiao coming afterward, and U-turn will KO. He's gonna go back into Reuni as the Gengar comes in. Now, I can understand why he didn't plot here, but he should have plotted here. Like, even if the Licky was Chople, you had ways around that. But...
Well, he was actually EQ Ice Beam Toxic, so I think that actually had really nice coverage this game.
Interesting, yeah. Oh right, I forgot he did run Ice Beam. Shadow Ball was probably the worst thing you could have clicked, because all of your momentum is gone from the previous turn, and Licky is now free to do what it wants. Lando is in and is ready to do what it does, to say the least. So he's gonna go for CM. Were you gonna say something, or?
Yeah, it was just sort of like, he makes a good play. He's like, oh, let me go into my ground immunity because I don't have another way to deal with an Earth Power Lando. And Palkia is just like, nah, I'm gonna Calm Mind in your face. And now this Lando has no switch-ins, because that takes 60%. Yeah, and that's a Spadef Gliscor as well. That is almost max HP, max Spadef.
Gengar here, he once again clicks Shadow Ball and doesn't click Plot. This one's a lot more understandable because he's behind and he wants to make sure he doesn't lose any more Mons to Lando. Now he's gonna start to be aggressive and get Medi back in. He's gonna recover as well, and now he's gonna double edge again, take 44%. And get Psychic out of the game.
That's just so funny to me, watching all that recoil. It's like, you're taking like 3% less damage in recoil than you are doing to a mon. Like, Reuni's fun. Yeah, so now to the magic of editing, we're back at turn 19, and yes.
dead. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got back to the part where the Gengar comes in, and now 2 sequences too late, he decides to plot. When I originally
Yeah.
saw that he finally plotted here, I got upset.
Yeah.
I can understand not
honestly...
I can very much understand not clicking it on the Lando, but the first time he added it on the Reuni, knowing it was Fizz Def, he 100% had to plot there instead of now. Because now the Gengar just friggin' dies. He has no reason to keep the Reuni. It doesn't beat most Reggie sets, and it'll just absolutely destroy the Gengar, and the Lando or Shao can just murder it. He gets the disable, which is kind of hot, and Nightshade
At this
as well.
point, I was kind of confused why Palkia didn't save Diff and just go like hard Mienshao or hard Lando, and just Earth Power or CC, and just like preserve the 5-0, because letting Reuni die to get like 25% on the Reggie didn't make much sense, but I guess. It is what it is.
4-0 or 5-0 is still well played by Palkia. He definitely had the upper hand here.
Yeah. I don't think there's too much that we can say about that, because like Palkia prepped well, Sun just didn't prep as well. He got outplayed by a Carmine Lando, and yeah, that's about it. I think that's all I've got for this game.
Yep, same here. We can move on to our final game, the first featured game in our brand new elementary division, our first ever D5. We got Frozen and Eno, I said it better the first time.
It's just Enola.
Enola.
That's what I'm going with.
So yeah, as we've established, we talked about it before. This matchup is basically weakened tank growth and rain winds, depending.
Oh yeah.
Unless the
also Zapdos. If that isn't like Spadef Coco, Zapdos just wins like on its own.
Zapdos looks good offensively as well. Bar Coco. Let's jump into it. We got Coco Nidoqueen lead, starts off well and probably just gets rocks up right away. Yeah, no reason to do anything else crazy. Cool to see the Weather Ball for the Gligar. Maybe a tad unnecessary, but either way, it works out fine.
I think that Tangrowth switch there was probably one of the worst mons he could have gone into, because looking at, there's a Dracovish and there's a Barraskewda. You need Tangrowth in this game, and just judging by that Weather Ball damage, it's not a very Spadef Tangrowth. And if he clicked like Thunder and got a Para, or he clicked Hurricane because Hurricane was super free, that's no more Tangrowth, and you just outright lose to like Scooter or Dracovish.
Probably should have gone Coco, even if it doesn't like Weather Ball there.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Nido will force Mandy back in, and it gets Ice Beamed, and it's dead. He clicks Psychic here, which I guess he can't click Hurricane, but Hurricane's a lot more free, and
yeah, I was confused at the not Hurricane there, because Zapdos is at 82. Like, a Hurricane plus a bit of toxic damage, plus say you U-turn out, like, it's gonna be to the point where another Hurricane's almost gonna kill the next time you get torn back in.
And yeah, you probably do 70 or 80 to this Scissor. But instead he clicks Psychic a lot more, because Life Orb. I don't know, I don't have the I don't have Tornai memory calcs because no one drafts it for some reason. I think it's super underrated.
Yeah, I've drafted it once and it got 1 kill all season, so I have never drafted it again.
And then Mr. Tangrowth dies.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about that play. Like, sacking literally anything else. Like, sack the Charizard, because you brought a Charizard versus a Rain team, and I don't understand that. Because even if you're Dragon Dance Zard X, Scooter in the Rain outspeeds that. You're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why Charizard was at 100%.
Yeah, Zard, the literally anything else, even Gligargus that can't really pivot in on like Zapdos and stuff.
Anything.
I mean, you can keep that. You can keep that for. I mean, I guess like look at this team against Sizz without Zard. Maybe that's the only reason.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
you,
you still needed Tang at that point. I maybe would have sacked Torn or Gligar.
No, for me it's one of Gligar or Sizz or Zard, because you only need one of them to really check Sizz and keep it. If you can keep Sizz or low, then Torn just hurricanes through it.
Yeah, which it's not boots, so the rocks eventually put it into BP range, which
and I'll
can eventually play around. So we see the Torn again here, and it's gonna die to Life Orb no matter what it clicks. Its next attack, and he's just gonna Hurricane the Pelipper for damage as he roosts it off. Good play there. And the Coco's gonna come in, and at this point, you still have Nidoqueen. No reason to not go into that, and that is Banded Coco.
Yeah, it's a Banded Coco behind Tailwind, so it's yeah. The Tailwind was a good bring for Rain, but I'm pretty sure it still gets outsped by Barrascuda, which is funny.
At this point, I would have sacked the Queen instead of Zapdos, because Zapdos is still useful for.
Well, Zapdos breaks the last 2 mons.
Yeah.
I guess Nidoqueen does as well, with like Earth Power and Ice Beam, which it has both of.
Well, I mean, if it has enough speed to outspeed Gligar at the very least, but Zard can just outspeed and like Dragon Claw it or whatever. I don't think Nidoqueen was worth keeping. It was too chipped from that first Brave Bird.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Barrascuda time. Liquidation.
Yeah, and unlike Torterra time, Barrascuda actually hits all of its moves and doesn't get flinched.
Barrascuda did not throw for the content. Little bitch. Unfortunately. Yeah. So Zard dies, and that is a 5-0 by Eno LR.
And I'll
good debut game from him. The matchup was very much in his favor, and he did play it safe, but that's what he had to do to win, so no problem with that. So that is the final game for this week. And as for everything else that happened this week, I will mention that now. Hey guys, Solo KHD here to do a quick weekly recap. So we, Blin and I discussed Jimmy and Nala together, but we're gonna go down the divisions and just quickly recap each week's action. So starting things off, Jamal picks up a win week 1 over BM in his debut to D1 as he promoted last season, and he defeated newcomer BM. Killer has an untriumphant return to MLP with a loss to Slick with his D1 debut, because he won download last season and promoted. Harris picks up a win over Chess. Spoink defeated Tails after promoting last season as well. Eagle Gene defeated Brian in his return to D1. He was in adaptability in season 11. That's when he replaced, and then he's worked his way back up here, and he is now 1-0. Saigai defeated Brandon because Brandon choked. And then Lapis defeated Sweaty 3-0. Next up, Perplexity. Me versus Blin was already covered, but Izzy defeated newcomer Devin 3-0. Hacker defeats JJ in his D1 D2 debut. Luke absolutely crushed winner. Lux defeated Tom Core with some Entei outplays, so he didn't get crushed like he did against Nikita last season. TCK wins his first MLP game against Rye, 4-0. Autumn defeated Splurge, 3-0, and Sveal defeated Slap, 4-0. Moving on to Duality, Ollie defeated Eevee in his main league debut, 4-0. Eggs defeated Ampha in his D3 debut, 3-0. Saf defeated Kurt in her D3 debut, 3-0. Cody defeated Fist 1-0 in his D3 debut. Burger defeated Abriel, 4-0. Tremono defeated John, 3-0. And that should be Dasa, but at the point in this recording, Dasa has dropped from the league and has been replaced by Peyton, aka Sip. But Dasa defeated Manbird week 1, 3-0. Moving on to Luxury, I want to apologize for the cartoonishly big scheduled screenshot here. You can blame Frost Eye for the what would you do if this man slaps your girlfriend's ass at Walmart. But anyway, we covered Palkia versus Sunsun already. Risk defeated Panda 2-0 in his MLP return. Puffer defeated Scoot Hawk 2-0 in his D4 return. Stanny defeated Ether 3-0 in his MLP debut. Firefin absolutely rocked Nerd 6-6-6-0. He won and got 6 kills with a Lycanroc. That got kill of the week, but we'll get to that. HGC defeated K Savage in his MLP debut. Frost Eye defeated J Caps in his MLP debut. And Jacob won the Jacob Bowl by defeating Jabba the Jake 1-0. Finally, we have Elementary, in which we already covered Eno LR
And I'll
versus Frozen. Darth Yoshi defeated Senkuku in his MLP debut. Chris defeated Iraz in his MLP debut. Arcadian defeated Cheesy 4-0. Cheesy has unfortunately dropped from the league, like Dasa, and been replaced by Ballhawk. McGee defeated Leighton 3-0 in his MLP debut. Puck defeated Azarine 3-0 in his MLP debut. Sweet AC won 5-0 and started off 1-0 with a 5-0 win over Rakia. And HWS defeats Alec 5-0 in his return to MLP. And finally, we have the Week 1 awards for the league. Jamal won Nobility Pokemon of the Week with his Spectrier. Luke won Perplexity Pokemon of the Week with his Mega Metacham. Duality Pokemon of the Week was won by Saf with her Garchomp. As previously mentioned, Firefin won with his Lycanroc Dusk for Luxury. And Elementary Pokemon of the Week was won by Sweet AC with his Mega Aggron having 5 kills. The Rookie of the Week was Eno LR
and I'll
with his dominant 5-0 win over Frozen. We've already recapped that game. Anti-Johners of the Week, Nobility, were the first to finish their games, so they won Anti-Johners of the Week. Shout out Ratatamen. Newly added to this season's weekly awards, we have Wheelchair of the Week, which was reserved for Nerd and Firefin. As previously mentioned, that was a 6-0 with the straight Lycanroc sweep. And this week's Locale of the Week was Tremono for pinging the Duality staff in live battles right before he played John. Very low-hanging fruit Locale of the Week, but I promise next week's will be better. Wink. That's about it. I will throw it back to past KHD and Blin. Alright, that's it for the rest of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the first ever episode of MLP Primetime. I want to thank Blin for coming on and being my first co-host. It was a good bit of fun. There wasn't enough swearing from our game. I was quite disappointed. That'll be all for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you next week.